Hi, my name is Courtney White. I am a University of Houston student, and I am going to talk about how access does not guarantee digital literacy, the technology gaps among school-age students. This is something that I'm very passionate about, and over my years of experience is something that I've seen that is something that needs to be addressed. The issue today in the United States is that technology is leading the way in our economy and in the workplace. The United States is one of the biggest leaders in advanced technology, and it is crucial that our future society has the preparation needed to move forward with the digital world among us. There is a gap between the use of technologies in school, and it is hindering to those with broader access. Students that do not have the resources for technology and Wi-Fi services at their house are becoming disadvantaged to being in the global society. The president of NEA stated that if our children are to excel in a fast-changing global society, we must harness the technology resources they need to function in a digital age. This means it's our job as educators to make sure students understand the importance of digital citizenship in our economy. Shown here is a visual of the important jobs and how impactful they are in the workforce. So here it shows the high uses of technology in potential jobs. We have software development, computer systems, and financial managers, and obviously it has a high amount of technology use. Here is the medium amount and the low amount, and there's a variety of workers here throughout the workforce, and all of them play a major part in technology. Some lower than others, some medium, and some high, but all of them use technology in the workplace. Over the years, technology has been implemented in schools, and there's been major movements to make sure that technology is used. Over the years, there's been tremendous efforts to increase the use of technology for students. Teachers have attended workshops, trainings, and even been forced to implement different types of technology in the classroom. Where the problem is that not all students are efficient in technology or even been taught the tools. Sometimes even the teachers aren't professionally trained in technology. Teachers are understanding the implementation benefits. They're seeing the significant effect and the quality of work experience for teachers. With online tests, attendance, record keeping, data collection, and online communications, teachers feel they can focus more on the strategic lesson planning rather than organizing, filing, and grading papers. The problem becomes that teachers are using the technology but aren't emphasizing good strategies and teaching methods that students will understand. Then you also have the issue of students not having enough technology, and it's creating gaps amongst the students that do have the resources and students without. We know that students do have access and others don't. Even the ones that do have access, it does not guarantee digital literacy. Despite overall progress, many schools are not making the full use of technology as a component of comprehensive school reform. Although technology may be available, schools often lack the resources and implement the money in the correct ways to make sure that high level of data uses are being used appropriately. Sarah Mason did a 2-year project and emphasized that technology capacity alone is not the answer. Such capacity needs to be coupled with teacher willingness and capacity to use data. Teachers need to learn how to obtain, manage, ask good questions, accurately analyze data, and apply data results appropriately and ethically. Teachers need to make sure that they are implementing good teaching procedures and ensuring that students understand the importance of technology. Teachers have a job to make sure that students are interested in the learning and as well as understand the importance and how it will impact them. Teachers need to make a better approach at making sure they're teaching effectively and ensuring that the purpose of the education is implemented with the technology. A report provided by NEA in 2008 stated that schools should seek more ways to use technology for the greatest gain in student achievement, particularly in urban and rural small town schools. State and district leaders should encourage schools to use technology in more creative ways by permitting more flexibility in instruction and by providing incentives that support technology-enriched programs. More ways should be found to motivate the most experienced educators to use technology through better training and more curriculum-rated opportunities. I have created a learner design document that's a detailed approach at instruction. This would be a way that teachers can ensure they are implementing technology in an appropriate way. They're using pedagogies and strategies that break down the learning to ensure success based off an objective. If teachers are using their best practices and implementing technology, it is certain that students will understand the importance and know how they can implement technology use in their own life and in the future. When first implementing a new lesson and introducing it to the students, I first did something that was very important to me, was reaching out to a student that was going to be using this technology and as well as completing this assignment. I did a basic interview asking her how she felt about this assignment. This helped me get an accurate context analysis of how she was going to perform. I then broke down the instruction by learner analysis. Entry behaviors. What behaviors does this student have before I'm teaching this? So one of the things I noticed is that seventh graders have a hard time writing a clear thesis statement. And I felt like this is what impacted their ability to do well. Now, when I was implementing it in technology, I allowed students to be able to look up examples of thesis statements online, which helped them. And then they were able to apply it to writing. These students were able to realize that technology and Google can be used in a beneficial way. I then had to think about the context analysis for the students and the environment. I had to think about how I could implement technology in a motivating way to increase engagement. One of the things that really helped me with the students was breaking them down and working with them in one-to-one or small group setting. What I did was worked with these students in smaller groups, and I was able to walk through the steps with them to see which steps were hard. If teachers are doing this with their students and technology, they get to see a closer look on what students are having trouble with or what they're struggling on in an assignment. After working with the students more closely, I reflected as well as the students on some of the things that we could work on in my instruction and throughout the lessons that would help them be successful. So some of the students shared what some of their complications were, whether it be with the technology or understanding the concept. We were able to work through it together. And sometimes in teaching, and especially when it comes to technology, you have to have these learning steps together with your students in smaller groups. Creating a lesson design like this and breaking it down helps you understand the objectives and importance and how to be successful. Another important tool in the design is breaking down your objectives into clusters. When I broke mine apart, I wanted to think about how many steps and how much time it'll take to complete all of the objectives. So starting from the beginning, what activities are my students going to need to do? How long is it going to take? And what do I expect them to do exactly? How many steps am I going to have for this final project? Because we know as teachers, it's not just a couple of days going over a lesson, it's going to be many different objectives that you're going over. So what really helped for me was to cluster the objectives and state how much time it was and break down the objectives by what exactly I wanted them to do. After breaking down my objectives, I then went into content and presentation and student preparation. Based off each objective, I had to think about the content, examples, and how I was going to support media inside of each of these. So it really helped me see the progression of how I'm going to implement this. When teachers use this strategy in the classroom, it's very clear, cut, and concise on how you're going to implement the technology and make sure that your students are meeting the objectives. That way, we know that students are receiving the access in the classroom, but they also understand the importance of it, and we're ensuring that students are meeting the objectives. At the end of my instruction design, I broke down the media selections and what exactly the students were going to be doing. Coordinating with each objectives that I clustered, I thought about the student groupings and media selections and then the delivery systems. So I thought about what exactly I wanted the students to be doing, what the objective was, and how I was going to deliver that instruction to them based off each objective. If we're able to do this with lessons implementing technology, students will be guaranteed to get the type of learning that they need to be successful in technology. And teachers are really able to be reflective on the lesson and make sure that their students are meeting the objectives. I'm going to share my media selection that I created to show how I explain on implementing technology in the classroom. In this video, I was able to show how students can use research, community, and technology all in one lesson. Students are able to feel like they're connected to the community around them, research using online tools and seeing that information about their own community is out there on the web, and they're able to connect it all back into the classroom. Teachers need to make a strong strategic move to make sure that these students are understanding the importance of technology and bridging those gaps for students who may not have all of the resources.